2024 Cygnett WNBL as they waited for the semis to arrive. The Perth Lynx have been waiting for something else, the return of their star import, Aari McDonald, who missed 8 games with a knee injury. She made it back just in time for the Lynx to pull out of their nosedive and scrape into the finals with clutch back-to-back wins. They were the 2 best teams in the league before injury intervened. It's the Fire and the Lynx, Game 1 of their best-of-3 series at the Fire Pit in Townsville, and it starts now. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Cygnett WNBL semi-finals series. Thanks to Foot Locker, Jason Bennett alongside Mark Alabakov and Zoe Carr for Game 1 of Townsville and Perth. And Zoe, Townsville, as I mentioned in the opener, were cruising along 2-3 games clear at the top of the ladder, but they got the speed wobbles on the run home.
Absolutely. Complacency can be something that does tend to creep in towards the end once you've clinched that final spot. But the best time to have those, as you say, speed wobbles is in the season, towards the end of the season. You can learn the lessons from it, you can take it to practice, and then they can come into finals confident and ready to go.
Mark, they say styles make fights. We're in for a ripper tonight. 2 completely different styles, 2 completely different philosophies. Ryan Petrick, the Perth coach, described it to us as Townsville use a scalpel, we use a hammer. What does he mean by that?
Well, for Townsville, it's all about the precision of their half-court execution, and they're great at their decision-making out of that. For Perth, it's about sheer volume. They try to get up and down the floor really quickly, create themselves layups, put themselves in positions to be fouled, and get kick-out three-point shots, all within 7 seconds or less. Incredibly,
Townsville have won their last 9 straight against Perth, including 3 straight this season. The series sweep coming Townsville's way. Although this is the 4th time they've met this year, it'll be the first time that they've met with both teams at full strength. The Fire previously without Kunek and Zawi B, and the Lynx without Aari McDonald. So tonight we get to see these 2 great teams go head-to-head at full strength for the first time this season. As we welcome in the 4th member of our commentary team tonight, Megan Huswaite is courtside. And Megs, despite all the twists and turns of this incredible season, somehow we've still arrived at Townsville and Perth in the semis.
Good evening, Jace. Yes, it is a mirror image, but that's where the similarities end, because the contrast has been in the preparation for both of these teams. Perth have been on the road for nearly a week. They played Bendigo in Bendigo last Saturday night, headed to Melbourne for the awards on Sunday night, and then opted to stay in Melbourne for a few days instead of heading home to Perth. And as much as they focused on the game, they learnt something from last season, and that was not to play the game over in their head 3 times before tip-off actually arrived. They got here to Townsville yesterday. The Fire, meanwhile, haven't left town since January 30 when they played Canberra in the nation's capital. Their focus this week since beating Sydney on Sunday has been the Perth Scout, the Scout more so than it usually would be for this Townsville outfit. And the focus, Aari McDonald, the best player in the competition, according to reigning coach of the year, Shannon Seapol.
Thanks, Megs. Yes, Aari McDonald would have been a short price favourite to win the MVP when she went down with that knee injury. She's had a superb season, and Perth, well, with Aari McDonald, have won 10 of 13. Without her, They've lost 7 of 8. Compelling numbers. So when we asked Perth coach Ryan Petrick whether their fortunes this season are directly tied to Erin McDonald, he openly told us yes. Mark, their entire system's been designed around Erin at both ends of the floor, so when she's not there, it just doesn't work.
Yeah, well, she completes the picture for them. She's such an exceptional scorer, but that she's a catalyst for defenses to have to come and collapse, and she gets other people involved in the game. And she had immediate impact when she got back into the lineup. The Lynx had 5 double-digit scorers. They only had 3 in the previous 6 games, and then last weekend against the Bendigo Spirit, the Lynx hit 15 threes at 39%, all because of the gravity of Erin McDonald.
Zoe, the Townsville Fire, completely different. Perth are all about speed, about chaos, about flying up and down the floor and letting the threes go from all positions. Townsville, well, they're systematic, they're methodical, they're well drilled, and if you're an opposition coach, you've got to pick your poison.
Absolutely. And the thing for Townsville is to make sure they don't get caught in a foot race with Perth tonight and get sucked into playing their game. They know they will be able to put enough points on the board if they stay true to their game style and their game plan. The question will be, can their defence hold up enough against such a high-scoring Perth outfit?
You sit on Reed and Whitcomb hurt you. You sit on Sammy and Steph hurt you. You cover both of those two, and Michaela Roof and Alice Kunek can pop up and hurt you. Who does Eri go to tonight?
Well, I think she'll go to Sammy. I think she'll look to lock her down and make an impact on her game there. And the challenge will be then for Steph Reed to try and take over the game and step up and be the one to, try and put points on the board as well as facilitate, which is really difficult as a point guard trying to find that balancing act. So I think that will be the challenge from Perth tonight towards Townsville to try and stem their game there.
So, Mark, we know Perth are going to want to put speed on the game. How do they do that?
Well, they can't foul. They've got to have foul discipline, defend cleanly. They've got to be able to throw multiple different looks to break the rhythm of the Townsville Fire and then try to bait them into perimeter shots that will land in long rebounds that then can get their running game going. They're the fastest paced team in the competition and the highest scoring, so if they can get out and run, they can do some real damage.
Shannon Seabohm, Zoe, told us that he doesn't mind getting into a bit of up and down at times, but they're going to have to be careful to pick their moments.
Yeah, it has to just be, as you said, at times, at the right time. And if you go empty on a few of those possessions where you are getting into that foot race, then it's time to get back to their game plan, which is slow it down, get through their offensive system and find the firepower that they have.
Shannon's fully expecting Ryan to be focused on disruption tonight. Try and disrupt the Townsville system, take them out of their comfort zone. He's expecting them to play a lot more zone, and they've changed how they guard, pick and roll. So he's just expecting different looks and different things to be thrown their way.
Well, I think you have to. When you've got a team that's been uber efficient on the offensive end to an all-time level like the Townsville Fire have, you've got to try to take them out of rhythm by giving them different looks and then not allowing them to see the same defensive output from your program where they can find the holes and pick them apart.
So for the second straight season, it's Townsville and Perth in the Cygnett WNBL semi-finals. Last season, Townsville swept the Lynx aside. They're on a 9-game winning streak over Perth. Will the reigning champs move a step closer to another grand final? Let's find out. It's game 1 in this best-of-3 series. The Fire and the Lynx at the Fire Pit in Townsville on ESPN's WNBL Finals, thanks to Foot Locker. And away we go. Townsville with first possession. Reed. Woods to Whitcomb to Akuzo, having a career-best season. Has the mismatch on McDonald, so takes it to the rack. Here is Erin McDonald. Centerpiece. Season opportunity, Zoe, and takes it.
Yeah, and that's going to have to be a bit of an issue for Townsville to make sure that you don't let her off the chain very early.
Here's Reed. Keep an eye on those matchups. It is McDonald and Whitcomb to begin. There is Sammy. Gets some space. Beautiful inside ball.
And that's why Townsville was so dangerous. You saw both Erin McDonald and Atwell go through the ball, and the pass inside was wide open.
Maylee, league MVP in her own right, off to Goodchild, who's now back to playing that roll off ball, which suits her game. Whitcomb. Woods. What a season she's had. Reed waits for Sammy to arrive. Wants to walk through traffic. Potter's got position. Sammy shoots over her. Kuzo comes up with the board. Sammy wide open. Bang!
And steps back and checks the line before she lets it go. So way to punish that drops defence from Perth.
McDonald comes straight back at her.
Anything you can do, I can do better.
What a start in that battle. McDonald versus Whitcomb. One to save it tonight. Reed probing as always. Managed to find a way past Atwell. Both these offences look really sharp early. No nerves early in this final. McDonald, well done by Ruth, read it well. Whitcomb sets up, short, and away comes Atwell. Another player having a career best season. She'll take Woods on, goes with a finger roll, can't finish. Reed to the corner. Whitcomb around Goodchild. Beautiful from Sammy. What a start she's made. On the board with 5 points early. Townsville happy to play up-tempo in these first couple of minutes. It's working for them. Lovely from McDonald. Finds Potter. 18 points on the board collectively in the first 2.5 minutes. This is high octane between the two best offences in the competition. Woods to Reed. For the first time, really, they settle things down, get into their set, go deep into the shot clock. Can't finish, and away comes Maley. Pass to Kuzo. Wanted McDonald. Instead goes to Atwell, and she's deadly from long range.
That's where you see the Perth Lynx playing that key or three style, getting feet into that green painted area, defense collapses, kick it out to Atwell for the three.
Back to a 1 point game. Woods. She finishes. This is sizzling basketball early. 6 for 9 Townsville, 4 for 6 Perth. Maley wants to go to the rack against Ruth, who does enough. Nakuzo off to Reed. Steph waits for an option. It's Woods. Annalee comes away with it. Pass to Kuzo. Goodchild around Woods, inside Reed, and she finishes. Two super efficient offences, Zoe Carr.
At some point, we've got to see some defense. I mean, I love watching offense, but whoever steps up and starts to lock down defenders now will be the one that will be able to actually take a bit of a lead in this game.
Both coaches happy at the moment to just let things play out on the floor at Kuzo. And we get a foul call, our first of the night, after they've put on 25 points, if you don't mind, Mark Alabakov.
Yeah, and you see both of the teams playing to their identity. So you would think that with the pace and the tempo of the game that Perth is playing the game on their terms, but the efficiency and decision-making out of the pick and roll by Townsville Fire is turning up layup-type shots over and over.
Let's go to Megsy courtside. Michaela Ruth looked to land a little awkwardly, Megs.
She sure has, and Cassandra Brown has come into the game for her first minutes of the final. How's this for manifestation? She was watching the series last year, visualising and setting her goals to become a WNBL player. Tonight's her first final.
Can't wait to see her in action. She is a sharpshooter in the top 5 all season for a field goal percentage. Cass Brown, what a weapon off the bench. 1 point game. Reed wants to take Maley on, does, can't finish. Potter, the quick outbound pass. McDonald can set her feet. And Woods will slow things down to Reed. So we've seen Townsville in their 2 different speeds. Happy to go up-tempo early and put some points on the board. Now becoming a little more systematic and methodical. Reed always looking for an option, and she finds it. Only needs half an opportunity, Zoe, and she's gone.
And just does an outstanding job of using her body. On her first step, steps into the defence and then creates that space for herself to finish.
McDonald and Reed. Potter. Atwell. Not quite. And there is Cass Brown. Whitcomb wants to take Goodchild on, steps inside, kicks it out, turns it over. Atwell. Scott Maley will go inside. Nice ball to Potter, can't finish. And away comes Atina. To Brown. Great ball movement, Townsville. Defence to offence.
An outstanding work from Brown there to wall up and defend Potter getting on the rim and then run the lane and get at the layup.
McDonald against Reed. Draws a foul. Megan Hustwaite courtside.
Michaela Ruth is just getting that left ankle taped up. There is some existing tape on it. And speaking of tape, Alice Kunek has just checked into the game, and that broken left wrist that she spent 10 weeks out with, that's also taped. It was hit in the first play of the game by a Sydney player last week, and the scar actually opened up and bled. So it's well taped and hopefully won't be hit tonight.
Thanks, Megs. Aaron McDonald leaves the first free throw short. She's a 71% shooter from the free throw strike so far this season. Went at 85% in the WNBA as an elite free throw shooter. She's up to 6 points. Whitcomb's got 5 for the Fire and then 4 apiece to Reed, Woods and Akuzo.
She's so efficient, Sammy Whitcomb. She's always a looming threat, not only with that three-point shot, but she can get to the rim and she'll get other people involved.
Reed feeds it through Brown. Here's Whitcomb with a little bit of space. Steps around Chippertoni. Can't finish this time. Off the hands of Clinch Hoycard. Fights for it and wins it. Maley wants to put speed on the ball. Here's an opportunity. Goodchild sets her feet, leaves it short. Nice tip from Whitcomb to Akuzo. And away comes Reed. Whitcomb kicks it out. Akuzo thought about it momentarily. Back to Sammy. Quick release. Well, scoring just dried up a little in the last couple of minutes. Amy to the rack. Not quite, but she draws the foul. Alice Kunek doesn't like the call. Here's another look, Zoe.
Yeah, a little bit unlucky, but I suppose out of position, and there is that contact on the shooter. So, you know, next time having to do the work to get in front of that so it's down the chest rather than from the side.
Points become a little bit more difficult to find in the last 3 or 4 minutes, Mark, as the coaches adjust.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, you know, the shot selection for the Lynx, I like them committing to trying to get the ball into the paint. They get the free throw line in almost back-to-back possessions, but there's often 4 Fire defenders that collapse into the paint. That's going to open up their kick-out three-point shots.
One possession game with 3 minutes to play in the opening term. This game 1 of our best of 3 semi-final series between Townsville and Perth. Game 2 Sunday afternoon in Western Australia. Reed. And away comes Maley. Chance for the Lynx to tie it up or hit the front here. Anna Lee against Kunek. And away comes Whitcomb. Steph Gorman with a job on her, gets the screen from Akuzo. And draws a foul in the process. So Steph Gorman, the number 2 defender in this Perth lineup, marked behind Erin McDonald, who usually gets the biggest job, and then Steph comes in and takes the second job.
She does, and she was the Defensive Player of the Year in the NBL 1 West, so she's accustomed to having to defend elite perimeter players week in, week out. So it's a comfortable position, and she relishes those challenges to try to shut down elite WNBL players now.
Not an easy task to move Zatina Akuzo out of the way, Zoe.
No, but she did a great job and maybe sold a little bit by Zatina, but you know, the contact was there, but you can see the emphasis of Perth really trying to get over the top of those screens and not allowing Townsville easy three-point shots.
So 2-point game with 2.5 to play in this opening term at the 5 hit. Reed in everything as always. Whitcomb. Back to Steph. She goes from long range. And away comes Clinch Hoycard. Atwell versus Kunek. Amy somehow finds a lane.
That's where Perth are really difficult to defend when Hoycard comes into the game and she's in that pick and roll, because her pick and pop is just deadly.
Scores level with a couple to play in the first. Reed. Chippertoni screened away by Zawi B. Shot won't go. Atwell spins through. Finds Potter. Disruptive hands there from Brown was good. Jump ball called as Atwell slides in. So the first 5 minutes of this game, Mark, was just full-on, full-throttle, high-octane attack. It feels like we've moved into a different phase in the last 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah, we have. I mean, you take the sting out of the game once fatigue catches up to both of these teams. So this is a real key, minute 44. Can the Perth Lynx stay with the Fire in terms of the quality of shot that they're able to create in the half court? The Fire have been the benchmark all season in that area.
So a brief breaking play as we clean the court. See more of this in Townsville than anywhere else. Just the humidity and the heat inside the fire pit means the floor wipers work overtime. A few extra chances for players to catch their breath, and they're welcomed. Atwell in the corner. Nice crashing in from Blue Troy Card, but she couldn't quite hang on, and it'll be a Townsville ball. There's Amanda Zawi B. They missed her. She had a calf injury from Jan 13 to February 25. This is her second game back. Just that backup big to give Zatina Rakuzo some respite. Whitcomb against Gorman, manages to shake the youngster, get to a dangerous spot. Tough finish, not quite. McDonald to the corner. And that's Perth basketball. Get a shot, get a look in the first 6 or 7 seconds of the shot clock.
It was. I was watching the shot clock. It was within the first 5 seconds. Corner three. The corner three is the highest percentage.
Cygnett responds. 22 apiece with a minute to play in the first term. An action-packed opening at the fire pit. Townsville sharing the load. Whitcomb's got 5, 4 apiece to Reed, Woods and Akuzo. While for the Lynx, 7 to Atwell, 6 to McDonald. And Sammy will go to the line as Amy Atwell takes a seat. Sammy Whitcomb, 78% free throw shooter. 33 of 43 this season. Final minute of the opening term. McDonald calls the shots, wants the screen from Goodchild, then feeds it through to Potter. Back to Airy. 3 ball is good. Tough to defend that, Zoe.
Well, and again, it's like you said at the start, pick your poison. You've got to get over the top of that and try and force her to put the ball to the floor.
She's up to 9 points. Kunek shakes Gorman, gets to the strike, finishes and 1.
It is an absolute coach killer to foul the jump shooter, but excellent execution from the Fire just to be able to, patience to come off that screen, get feet in the paint and then pull up and elevate, take the contact and still finish.
Three second differential between game and shot clock here. So this will be one of the few times Perth will be happy to run the clock down. Neri does exactly that. Sets up a play. Here comes Potter to put the screen on. Can she get past Zawi B? She can. Can't finish. Still time for Townsville. Sammy sets. Will she shoot? She goes back. She goes forward. She goes to the corner and the moment's lost. It remains a Townsville ball with 1.8 to play. She was going to set her feet and let that 3 ball fly. Inbound play. Woods. Zawi B. Entertaining, high-octane opening term at the fire pit in Townsville. It's Townsville 27, Perth 25, quarter time on WNBL finals action, thanks to Foot Locker. could not have been more impressive in the first half. Now they're being challenged. Can McDonald get busy again? She does there.
I think we started off very strong. Obviously, basketball, you're going to have your, ups and down moment, but I think that we stayed the course. I mean, we stayed together. My, injury, it wasn't as bad as I thought, and just seeing the medical team and just the plan they had for me was reasonable, and they had my best interest. I want to finish something that I started, and I want to come back and play with my team.
Erin McDonald was the MVP favourite when she went down with that knee injury on December 27. The 25-year-old averaging 20 points and 6 assists in her first WNBL season. We'll hear more from Erin at halftime. 9 points for her in the first half, 7 for Sammy Whitcomb as we head to Megsy courtside.
Ryan Patrick's message to his players was about maintaining this level of pace for the game. He said that Reid and Whitcomb are going to play big minutes and Perth are going to rotate things. But this starting five for the second quarter might have thrown things out the window for Ryan Patrick. Sammy Whitcomb not starting and Zoe B in the place of Zatina Okuso.
Thanks, Megs. Defensive breakdown there gives Townsville their first points of the second term and they lead by 4. Atwell to McDonald. Knocked away by Zawi B, but straight into the hands of Maylee from the corner. Here's Reid. So Reid and Whitcomb are combined 4 for 14 in that opening term. Kunek, back to Steph. Back to Alice. Puts it on the floor, loses the handle. Well played, Atwell. Amy comes away with it. Pops it over the top. Potter wide open. Back to a one-possession game.
Another high percentage look in transition. So within 7 seconds or less, they're at the tip of the rim, ball's in Potter's hands for a layup.
How do you stop that, Mark?
Well, I mean, part of it is shot selection and then supporting it with offensive rebounding efforts. You can drop people back defensively to try and force perimeter shots from the Lynx.
Bodies hit the floor. Off the ball, Amy Atwell. A foul called on Amanda Zawi B. Perth ball. Zoe, what did you make of the first term?
Well, as we said, it was almost two quarters in its own quarter. The start was just high-paced, high-scoring, then it settled down. They slowed into their offense. Perth was still looking to get early offense and play with feet in the paint in the first 7 or 8 seconds. But I think now they've settled into their game styles. They both know how they want to play now, and we'll see probably the ultimate Townsville basketball versus the ultimate Perth basketball.
Yeah, it's fun to watch. Here's McDonald. Hit there from Amanda Zawi B, so it will remain a Perth ball. So Erin McDonald with 9 points in the opening term. Amy Atwell's got 7. 7 for Sammy Whitcomb. 8 now for Alice Kunek, who's come in and shot 3 for 3 and having an impact. Atwell. Long range, she's good again. Amy 2 for 3 from long range. And Perth have the lead. Reid to Woods. Good screen from Zawi B. Roof to the corner, great to see her back out there. And she drains a long ball. Just so important, Michaela Roof. Does all the little things well. She's the glue player. Shannon Seabohm says she's just a dream to coach. Does all those little things well. Atwell flips it. Potter back to Atwell. Drives to the rack and one.
Just a slightly late tag there from Zowie B. Great switch on that action at the top of the key. But as Atwell read it well, curled off of that and was able to get feet in the paint. Zowie B just needed to meet her just that fraction earlier.
Amy Atwell named in the all-second team this year in the WNBL as we head courtside to Megs.
Important minutes here for Zowie B, but also important to note that Zatina Okuso crashed into the LED screens during Sunday's win over Sydney and copped a bit of a crunch. She's just coming back on now, but it has caused some renovations here at the fire pit with some precautionary foam placed on the ends of those LED screens in front of the score benches.
Thanks, Megs. That's to protect the foam, incidentally, not Zatina. The LEDs are copping a whacking from Zatina. Woods slapped away from Potter. Roof. Here is Akuzo backing up against Emily, trying to get the position. Good defence from Emily, even better finish from Zatina.
That's twice now in this quarter alone. Townsville have got open on that flex cut action, so that cut across the baseline, and it almost got... The first one ended in a layup, the second one almost ended up in a layup had there not been a fumble. So Perth really need to address that, because that will end in high percentage looks for as long as they want it if they keep it up this way.
Foul called there on Steph Reed. Shannon Seabohm watches on. 4-time Coach of the Year now, just the second coach in WNBL history after Tom Maher to win that award on 4 occasions. A wonderful achievement. He's looking for back-to-back titles. McDonald, nice find. Maley somehow in the midst of all of that was open, couldn't finish. Knocked away and picked off by Zatina. Woods to Reed. And here's Akuzo at the other end getting it done.
Teams have had a whole lot of profit in looking to run with a lead post, going from basket to basket quickly and beating Potter in a foot race.
She works now on Akuzo. Won't drop, still alive. Maley scrapping. Ruth beats her for it. Rebound battle at the moment. 14-11 in favour of Townsville. Whitcomb, good first step on McDonald. And extracts a foul on Airy, her second. So Zatina Akuzo up to 8 points, Zoe, on 4 for 4 shooting. We've known she's a prodigious talent for many, many years. We've seen glimpses. This has been the year she's put the consistency behind those glimpses.
Definitely, and you can see there's also an intent defensively from her as well. You saw on that last possession versus Potter, she was able to muscle up with her, wall up, stop her from just having an easy finish that Potter's been, frankly, used to a lot throughout this season.
6th year in the system for Zatina at 25 years of age, now just coming into her prime. McDonald being harassed by Whitcomb. Goodchild. Good step there on Reed. Back out to Airy. She's covered by Sammy. Will she step back and shoot over the top? She does. It's short. Well done, Sammy Whitcomb. Townsville making a little mini move here. They're up by 5. Nicely done, Atwell. Really important hand. Knocks it away from Akuzo. And then Sammy returns the favour. She picks it off. Goodchild in poor position. Nothing she can do. She did really well in the end, Miller, to not concede the foul. It's the best you can hope for in that situation.
Absolutely. As Townsville end up going into defence right now, have a look at the work that Michaela Roof is doing off the ball. Her what we call tags, so when there's somebody diving on the rim after a screen action, she's coming off of Maley and making sure that she's just there enough to deter that pass, then recovering back. I mean, you look at the game and the work she's doing on Maley, keeping her off the glass.
It's 38-33, ESPN's WNBL Finals, thanks to Foot Locker.
There's 2 people over here. They're opening the whole backside. So more help off these guys.
Again, deal with the keyway first. 3.1 seconds. Right now, what are we in snap 5? You've got to set it. So yours, again, legally, that's set it. Come off it. Remember, coming off it, we goes out. Get downhill 2 on 1. If not, second side, third side, it comes back. We good? Bye again.
Let's hear those 5 bells count to you now.
Approaching the midway point of the second term, it's the 5 by 5 points here at the 5 pit. Chipotoni, Maley. Back to Chipotoni, looking for an option. Atwell covered. Lynch Hoycard with the screen, then receives over the top. Can she work on Roof? She can, it won't go. Townsville ball as we head courtside to Megs.
Well, Townsville just wanting to get a few stops here, and Shannon Seabohm just reiterating the plans to his players around shutting down the potent guards in Atwell, who has 13 points, and Airy McDonald, who has 9.
Reed to Woods. Set and forget. 8-point game now in favour of Townsville. Important minutes here for the Lynx with 5 to play in this second term. Maley, season opening, gets to position and drops it.
That's better shot selection from Annalise Maley, getting her feet into the key first. Her last 2 shot attempts have been from the mid-range. It's resulted in a push of the ball for Townsville back the other way.
Annalise gets it back to 6. Reed. Woods. Puts it on the floor, gets to a good position, can't finish, follows her own ball and scores.
And there's a clear direction to be going at Woods right now, getting her off that flare screen. Last time she hit the 3, then she's looking to put the ball to the floor. So a clear direction there to try and attack her defender.
Good child. Spots clinch Hoycard, difficult position, almost. Knocked away. Whitcomb. Foul called. Sammy doesn't like it. Here's another look, Mark Alabakov.
Great baseline drive there by Clinch Hoycard. Not sure where the foul took place, to be honest.
I think it was a foot violation rather than a foul because, yeah, I think Whitcomb would probably still be talking about it if it was a foul.
Meg's courtside.
Well, Ryan Petrick was happy with that. Sammy Whitcomb not, and it would be the first time in about 11 years they haven't been on the same page because for 11 years Ryan coached Sammy in State League and then, of course, at the Perth Lynx. This is his first season and final coaching against his former star.
Atwell fouled, thanks Megs. Ryan's dad was the president of Rockingham, the Rockingham Flames. And Sammy found herself there when she was undrafted and she'd gone to Germany and she was looking for other European opportunities, and one came up to play State League basketball in Australia, and aren't we glad as a basketballing nation she decided to take that opportunity out. What a career she's had. So it's an 8-point game with 4:21 to play in this opening half. Townsville led it by 2 at quarter time. They've added 16 points to 10 in this second term. As Amy Atwell gets some running repairs.
For the most part, this second quarter has been at the pace that the Townsville Fire would want the game played at. The Perth Lynx had 10 combined points off turnovers and fast break points in the first quarter. They've only had 2 so far in the second.
So the challenge for the Lynx to get the game back on their terms. Put some speed and chaos back into it. Atwell fouled, taking a 3 ball. So she gets 3 shots from the line, only makes the first 2. Reed and Chipotoni. Oh, well done, Steph Reed. Now you see her, now you don't.
That's an impressive change of pace. You talk about the handle. The handle was great, but that was all about the change of pace.
Atwell runs into some trouble with Woods and travels in the process. Courtney almost stripping her of the ball.
And you can start to feel the fire and how the momentum is shifting towards them. They're starting to take control of this game. So it's really important that the Lynx lock down now and don't allow even a clean look for the Fire in this possession.
Biggest lead of the game for Townsville right now. Reed and Chipotoni. Brown looks to get the position at the post. Akuzo back to Steph. Takes on Clinch Hoycard, draws a crowd, kicks to Woods. She steps on the sideline. That was the stop they needed, Mark.
Yeah, and like forced the Fire to have to play at a quicker tempo, and then that's what resulted in the error. So now they'll have an opportunity to go down their end. They'll want to execute and get the ball from side to side to keep the Fire moving and keep time and space advantages.
So Chipotoni coming off the bench now with Erin McDonald back in the lineup. Suits her, able to play just in short bursts and have an impact, and she does well there. Potter doesn't finish. Off her hands, it'll remain a Perth ball. Emily yet to really find her range tonight. She's been a dominant force at times this year for Perth. She's 2 for 6 from the field. Just claps her hands together there in a little bit of frustration. Knew she missed one. Well done, Akuzo. Strips Gorman. Releases Whitcomb. Brown Woods back to Zatina. And they move it round the arc. Steph says get to position on the inside. Goes to Brown. And there is Zatina in position. Well done, Potter. Away comes McDonald. Can they get a quick strike here, Perth? Tries to turn past and does. Cass Brown and one. The speed and the change of direction from Mary McDonald.
And 3 the old-fashioned way. So accelerates, gets into the body there of Cass Brown, and then is able to separate and then has the airspace to finish as she falls out of bounds.
9 points in the opening term for Airey. She spent a bit of time on the bench in the second term, Zoe, just for 2 points. But we see the impact that she can have straight away. Changes the dynamic instantly.
Absolutely, and you've got to think that's a fatigue factor, so trying to make sure towards the end of this game, keep it close enough and bring her in and let her fire towards the end of the game.
And a lot of match fitness under her belt, obviously, having spent so much time out, missing 8 games with that knee injury. Reed looks for the body of Potter. Potter did well. Held her ground. McDonald back the other way. Gorman can't finish. It remains a Perth ball. And we've just seen with the re-injection of Airey McDonald, the open shots that are suddenly getting found that weren't there 3 or 4 minutes ago.
Yeah, I mean, she's such a catalyst because she's got gravity as a scorer. It forces 2, sometimes 3 fire defenders to come and try to blow up her dribble penetration, and she's smart enough to give the ball to the open teammate.
Potter against Akuzo. Back to McDonald. Whitcomb with the job at the moment. Airey draws a crowd, gives it to Maylee. Annalee for the finish. It's short. Well done, Gorman. Oh, really well done. Almost great effort from McDonald. But it's considered an over and back. Desperate lunging effort from Airey. So 2:24 to play in the second term. 5 threatened to just sneak out to a double-digit lead, and the Lynx have managed to just stabilise the situation at the very least and hold it at 5 points. Shannon and Sammy confer.
And it's such a game of inches. I've counted 5 missed layups for the Lynx in this.
Be their 5th in 10 years. Incredible.
It's an amazing strike rate. Some teams are just happy to get there once in 10 years. So to 5 is just a testament to the organisation.
Back-to-back minor premiers for the second time. And every year they've won the minor premiership, they've gone on to win the title. They'll be hoping that streak continues. Here's Maylee at the strike. Annalee, career 73% free throw shooter. And carrying a foot injury over the last 6 weeks or so, which has restricted her. She's played through it. Makes both. Again, they get it back to 5 points. Perth just hanging around here. Really important to stay in touch. Lead to Whitcomb inside. Akuzo wants to work on Potter. Good stop there from Perth. Zatina pulls up a little sore. He just rolled that ankle.
And just on that action, I'd like to see Reed lift out of that corner a little bit to make that pass a little bit easy so she can catch and shoot the three.
There's not a lot of bigs in the league that can stand toe-to-toe with Zettina Akuzo and take that sort of body pressure, Zoe, but Emily Potter can.
Yeah, and that's what's been great about this contest, and largely the referees have kind of let it go, so it's been a really good contest to watch.
Zettina takes a seat. We spoke about the importance of Amanda Zawi B. Mark, we know Zettina is an explosive athlete, so having Amanda there has been useful because Zettina can get a break.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think where the Fire's season took a little bit of a slump was when their front court got thinned to just 2 players.
Let's listen in to Shannon.
Get to that wide pin, we can play off that, right? Again, just, oh no, that's fine, it's a good look, that's all right. Hey, remember, we just got to value the ball, right? Look after the ball, make sure we're getting a good shot every possession the rest of this half, right? Hey, let's money the first pick and roll here, right? Anyone, money the first pick and roll, right? Go, here we go. You go out well, right?
Timeout brought to you by CTM Sport. Here to transform your team's travel experience. Leave all those hassles of the off-court arrangements to CTM. They're the experts in sports travel management at ctmsport.com.au. That was Shannon Seaborn. What did Ryan have to say, Megs?
Very calm in Ryan Petrick's camp. He was just assuring his players they are all good. A lot of talk around Alex Chibatone's facilitator role. She's another player that's come back into her natural place alongside Amy Atwell with the return of Erin McDonald.
Yeah, exactly right, Megs. We've seen Chibba's vision, and there's another missed opportunity, a basket that Emily Potter would have thought she would have made. Whitcomb at the other end to punish, not quite. Good rebound there from Maley. Pressure there from Brown, almost enough to jar it free. Now over the top, can Potter finish this time? She takes the J instead.
That'll do massive things for her confidence too, seeing one go through the net and be able to then look to go back to that and score next time it comes into the paint.
Popped it over the top of Akuzo rather than trying to work on her body-to-body as Whitcomb draws a foul.
One of the things I love watching the Townsville Fire play with Whitcomb, with Woods, with Reed, whenever there's a pick and roll set, if the defender doesn't take away rejecting using it and this baseline drive, they'll go every time and they accelerate to the hoop and they do a beautiful job of getting feet in the paint.
Final minute of the opening half. Here comes Zawi B to give Zettina Akuzo just that extended halftime break.
It's a fireball, makes a noise!
Whitcomb, eyes darting, goes to Kunek. Got some traffic to work through. Zawi B, Woods, good ball movement. Brown, can she get a look? Good pressure, Maley. Well done, Perth. Sammy just wore one on the finger there. So an opportunity here for the Lynx. Good child to tie it up. Still there for Maley. No room to work in. And away comes Brown. Whitcomb, 2-second differential between shot and game clock. Townsville will be happy to run this down, you would think. No, they'll take the points. Brown to the basket for 2 more. Final play of the half. Potter brings the ball down. Playing as a point big, and then that's why you don't. Tosses it into the back court. Well, bigs around the country have just torn up their cards in disgust, Zoe.
Well, it can get a little bit scary for bigs when they're that far away from the basket and they have the ball. So, you know, we can't get too upset with it, but the really important thing is for the Lynx now is to move on from it and get this stop. You cannot allow the Fire to score off this possession and go into half-time with that momentum.
Let's head inside the huddle and listen to Ryan Petrick.
First possession, match up. No, change that. Mila, get Steph. First possession, match up, foul. Needs to be legal, it can't be some random BS. Foul legally, okay? Second time, I'll sub, show man, we'll go 3. We good?
Short and sweet from Ryan. Clear and direct to the point. With 7.5 seconds to play. Megs, did you get a chance to hear Shannon's comments?
Yes, Perth to go to a zone. He's expecting Alice Kunek's going to pass it in. And I was just having a bit of a squiz at Sammy Whitcomb's hand. She's just shaking it off after we saw she copped a bit of a hit to one of her fingers.
Here's the play. Reed. We saw Goodchild swap in to get that job. Whitcomb's going to have to put up the late shot. Well done by Perth. They hang on. 5-point game at the half. Townsville 49, Perth 44. And a player down, grabbing at the ankle. Is that Sammy Whitcomb? Landed awkwardly after making that shot. That right ankle. And the fire pit goes silent momentarily. Sammy back on her feet. She'll limp to the locker room for further assessment. Here's another look. Just rolls the ankle as she lands. He's hoping everything's okay for Sammy Whitcomb. So she must have been fouled in the process of making that shot right on the buzzer, because she's going to go to the line to shoot three. So what looked to be a great defensive play for Perth in the end is going to drive Brian Petrick mad.
Absolutely. You never want to foul a jump shooter. Just stay clean, contest it as high and hard as you possibly can, and do a great job of boxing out. This will send a very capable free throw shooter to the line for some gimmies.
So a chance to make a 5-point lead into an 8-point lead. Right on half-time with a second to play.
I think what might make Coach Petrick a little more irate is them not following the instruction in that last time out. He wanted them to foul as soon as the ball was inbounded rather than on the shot, and they didn't get that done.
And that's why he wanted the foul early, Zoe, to avoid this three situation that they now find themselves in. Makes 2 of 3. Last second play, needed to be catch and shoot. Atwell couldn't take it cleanly. And at the half, it's Townsville by 7 points at the fire pit. 5:51, Perth 44 at the major break. Game 1 of this best of 3 semi-final series. The winner to face Melbourne or Southside in the grand final. The Flyers taking game 1 last night in a 4-point thriller at the Boombox. More on that in our halftime show coming up in just a moment as we head to Megs.
Alice, some late momentum for Townsville. How can you build on that in the third quarter?
Yeah, I think we just...
Rocky, lovely find. Potch open. And it's the Flyers lead. Southside will surge to the break with all sorts of momentum. Rocky holds it up, works it with earth. This has been brilliant from the Flyers. Well done, Southside again, great team. Cole can work it with Dicky Go herself, and Canada rejects.
could not have been more impressive in the first half. Now they're being challenged. Can McDonald get busy again? She does there.
I think we started off very strong. Obviously, basketball, you're going to have your ups and down moment, but I think that we stayed the course. I mean, we stayed together, and we definitely got tested. Townsville had our number in the beginning. So I think we definitely learned a lot of lessons throughout the season, but, I mean, it's not about how you start, it's about how you finish.
Down goes Erin McDonald in a tangle. You can see her there clutching at that right knee. It's got a little bit of strapping on it. She stayed down for a few minutes and has limped to the rooms with the support of the medical staff for further assessment.
When I first got injured, I definitely thought about going home, but then my injury, it wasn't as bad as I thought, and just seeing the medical team and just the plan they had for me, it wasn't bad at all. It was reasonable, and they had my best interest.
Well, it's so great to see her back on court. She was so influential in those first 8 games of the season.
I want to finish something that I started, and I want to come back and play with my team.
The much anticipated return of Erin McDonald.
And he's working well, really well.
It was very hard. Went on like a 6-game skid, so I believed in my teammates, and they were just positive throughout the whole process, so that was very encouraging. This is not the end, like we're gonna be okay, and just I made it my mission to come back.
In the corner for McDonald, who stands and delivers. 24 points for her tonight, her second game back from a knee injury. As McDonald finds her way through, she is outstanding.
This will mean a lot. Obviously, I came here to get better, create bonds, but I think the championship, that was obviously #1 on my list of coming here. So, I mean, this will mean a lot. I think we'll be all right, and it's just my teammates and I, we're very optimistic.
Erin McDonald's picked 3 in the 2021 WNBA draft, so Ryan Petrick knew he'd signed a good one when he got the signature of Erin McDonald, but Mark Alabakov, interestingly enough, he signed her primarily for her defence. She was a 2-time PAC Defensive Player of the Year in college, but she's proven to be just as effective at the other end of the floor. What makes her so special?
Well, I mean, she's a tenacious defender, as you mentioned, and she takes the defensive job of guarding the elite perimeter player for the opposition team, but she's so incredible at being able to get her feet into the paint. She can get high percentage shots over and over again, and then has 3-point shooting percentage. So, what do you take away? And the gravity that she has draws multiple defenders to her, and she gets other people open looks as well.
7-point game at the half, 51-44 in favour of Townsville. Zoe, what did you make of that first half action?
Well, incredible offensive display from both teams. I think we'll find that as soon as the team started locking in defensively, then we started to see the game open up a little bit more, and Townsville just doing an outstanding job of taking over and being able to push it open a little bit. And whilst the score isn't a huge lead, it certainly does feel like that Townsville are in control.
Not a lot of difference in the stats, Mark, when we look up and down the stat sheet. One that did jump out, plus 10 points in the paint, the Fire. The Lynx left a few on the table.
They did. So I counted 7 missed layups in quarter 2 alone. So that's 14 points that you've left begging that, could bring this margin a whole lot closer and in essence put the Lynx in front. But this is what the Fire do. They keep you, wear you down rather, across 4 quarters, just creating high percentage shot after high percentage shot.
Yeah, and you look at it too, defensively from Townsville's perspective, the work that they've been able to do. Annalie Maley has 1 offensive board for the game so far. Now, chances are that's going to change, but I don't remember the last time that Annalie Maley would have had only 1 offensive board at half-time. So that's a testament to the work that mostly Michaela Roof has been doing on her and their ability to really lock into their scout and deliver.
Well, the semi-finals tipped off last night at the Boombox with Game 1 of the series between the Melbourne Boomers and the Southside Flyers. Tight and tough all night. Nothing between them for 3.5 of the 4 quarters. Melbourne holding a narrow lead until the back end of the third term. Southside went on an 11-point run to finish the quarter, opened up a 9-point lead at the final change, and that proved to be a match-winning burst. The Flyers holding on for a 4-point thriller, 90-86. Lauren Jackson, her first WNBL final in 14 years, finished with 20 points. Jasmine Dickey outstanding off the bench with 16. Keely Froling played her best game as a Boomer, 23 points. Mon Conti with 16. Fantastic contest, this one, Mark. Everything we thought it would be. What did you make of it?
Yeah, I mean, it was a tale of two halves in a lot of ways, and I thought that the Melbourne Boomers did a great job of creating high percentage shots for themselves. They shot the three-point shot better than they have all season, but I think the Southside Flyers were up to the task defensively. The job that Jazz Dickey did on Jordan Canada in clutch moments and then to come out and be a scoring threat at the other end, I think it was pivotal.
We knew the rebounding battle was going to be critical, Zoe, so it proved to be. O-Board's 15-8 in favour of the Flyers. Second chance points, 20-5 in the end, so that made the massive difference.
Absolutely, and we know the size. You can see the size advantage that Southside have over pretty much all teams in the league this season. So you've really got to make sure you keep them off the glass. So it's one shot per possession max. Otherwise, you end up with results like this.
Game 2 of that series live from the Boombox Saturday night from 7 p.m. Eastern here on your home of hoops, ESPN. That wraps up our WNBL Game 1 halftime show. Thanks to Foot Locker. It's the Fire up by 7 points at the main break. Third quarter action coming up next. Getting set for second half action in Game 1 of the Cygnett WNBL semi-final series between Townsville and Perth at the Fire Pit in Townsville. It's the Fire leading by 7 points, 51-44 at the major break. They led by 2 points at the first change and then outscored Perth 24-19 in that second term. 15 points for Amy Atwell, 12 for Ari McDonald for the Lynx. While for the Fire, 11 for Sammy Whitcomb, 10 for Zatina Akuzo. Well, Megan Huswaite is with one of the most valuable players in the history of the competition. So valuable, in fact, they named the medal after her, Megs.
They sure did. She's also the queen of Townsville. I won't say mayor, but you are on the council as well, Susie Batkovic. How are you feeling about your Fire's fortunes at halftime?
Yeah, look, I think they're doing well. I mean, it's 51 and 44 apiece, and I think they've come out ready to play. You know, and so is Perth, and it's still early days, and we all love a good final, so it's been a good game to watch.
Now, speaking of finals, Mia Murray was the Rachel Spawn Grand Final MVP in Townsville's first championship, and it was a special day here on Sunday as her banner joined yours and Rachel McCulley's just in front of us. It must have been a special day having a lot of the gang back together, including Kate Gaze and visiting Sydney player Kayla George.
Yeah, it was amazing, and for Mia, you know, she's contributed so much to this club, and she's just a beautiful person, a great athlete, so for her to be honoured that way, I think it's fitting and I think it's well deserved. And to look, have everyone back with their babies, our babies, it was really something special, and you know, we've got some beautiful photos, something that, you know, is going to be more memories for down the track, but yeah, just beautiful.
Now, no one has won more league MVPs than you. That's why the medal is named after you. Jordan Canada, the first American to win the award during the week. A very worthy winner.
Yeah, 100%. I think, you know, at the end of the day, there's a process in place for the person who wins it, and she's had a great season, so, you know, hats off to her, and I'm happy for her.
Thanks for your time, Susie. A bit of injury news on Townsville. I don't know if Susie's going to like some of this. Michaela Roof, we spoke about that left ankle she had taped in the first quarter. She's come out of the rooms at halftime limping. We believe she may be out of this game. We are going to follow that up, but it looks like Michaela Roof will sit this second half. Alice Kunek telling us at halftime that she's got her wrist that she had surgery on in a heat pack as she adapts to life with 11 screws in that wrist. Sammy Whitcomb ran out on the court after halftime. She looks good, so that's the latest from the Fire camp.
Thanks, Megs. With the 7-time All-Star, the 5-time champion, the 6-time MVP, the great Susie Batkovic. There is Michaela Roof. She'll take a seat to start this second half. Erin McDonald into the action. As we mentioned, 15 for Amy Atwell, 12 for McDonald, 11 for Whitcomb, 10 for Akuzo. It's a 7-point lead for Townsville as we start this second half. Game 1 up for grabs in this best-of-3 series. Great to have you with us. The Cygnett WNBL semi-finals, thanks to Foot Locker, coming away on the home of hoops, ESPN. McDonald, quick release from Atwell is good. What a great start to the second half for Perth. Lead slashed to 4. Atwell up to 15 points now on 4 of 7 shooting. Whitcomb looking for an opening, creates one herself. We're in for more of that high-octane offense that we saw to start the first half, Zoe. Where's the D?
It's effectively mirror image of the start of the first half.
Can't keep up. Whitcomb at the other end. Not this time. And away comes Potter to McDonald. Airy has got Goodchild. And she's fouled, although she stepped on the sideline before, being fouled by Brown, I believe. There's another look. Yep, steps back and gets clattered into, but was already out of play. So Brown gets out of jail. Reed. Steph with 6 points on 3 of 9 shooting in the first half. Woods gets to a dangerous spot well read by Annalee Maley. Can't quite control it. Breaks up the play as we head back to Megs.
So just a bit of an update on Michaela Roof. That left ankle is going to keep her out of this second half. She could have warmed up at halftime. The Townsville staff were telling me that they, of course, are taking the biggest road trip in the league to head to Perth for Game 2. So they're going to take a cautionary approach to Michaela Roof.
Thanks, Megs. Atwell again. Feeling it. Amy Atwell is up to 21 points. Sorry, 18 points. Reed. Make a liar of me again, 21. Whitcomb to respond, not quite. Off Maley, Perth ball. Good start to the second half from the Lynx.
And this is what you would want in terms of forcing the Fire to take tough contested 2-point shots or perimeter shots for Sammy Whitcomb. But anything that lands long is a chance for them to run.
McDonald. Reed with the job. Here's Atwell again. Not quite this time. Woods, Maley collide.
One thing to keep an eye on is the impact of Mila Goodchild on the offensive glass. You always see Anna-Lee Maley run and jump and try to compete with her athleticism. Often right in the mix is the guard, Mila Goodchild, trying to compete as well.
A fantastic season. Development player laid into the program for the Boomers last year. Established herself here. Whitcomb through traffic, not quite. Knocked free. Here's Maley. Perth on the run. McDonald puts it on the floor against Reed. Wraps around. Tough finish. Not quite. Potter. Can she follow up? She can. And the Lynx have the lead. They trailed by 7 at the half. And they've come out the first 2.5 minutes and flipped the script. It's Perth 54, Townsville 53. Early stages, second half. WNBL semi-final action, thanks to Foot Locker.
Now, when you're coming off on ball, she's under, you're shooting the first shot, right? Shoot the first shot, right? It's good, okay? And then, hey, we shoot the ball, we go board anyway, right? They don't block out, we get a second chance, we're good, right? Right, remember, Dion Atwell, we've just got to be tighter, right? We've got to be tighter, right? Now, if it's, let's say, if it's the 5, you've got to chase it. If it's you guys, switch it, right? Switch aggressive, deny her the ball, don't let her get it, right? Offensively here, right? Let's go horns up all the way through, right? Get a paint touch, right? Post touch. If we don't have it, play the grenade, right? Here we go. Right, here we go. Good, be the aggressor.
One-point game, early stages, third term at the Fire Pit in Townsville. You're watching the WNBL, Cygnett WNBL semi-finals on your home of hoops, ESPN. Thanks to Foot Locker. What a contest we have. Reed, Whitcomb, Brown, back to Sammy, back to Steph. Perth in position. Akuzo on the inside. Will she drive herself? She will. Tough finish. Foul called as we head to Megs.
Ryan Patrick said that Perth's runners come from just that run and from their stops in half-court walk-ups. They want to get Cassandra Brown into action and to try and guard Aerie McDonald. His final message to his players was, let's run them out of this gym.
So Tina Akuzo, just a 64% free throw shooter, but she's gone 8 of her last 10, really worked on it, and it's starting to pay dividends. Mark, we had a chance to listen in to Shannon's last time out. What did he have to say?
Well, he asked them to support their shot attempts with more rebounding efforts, try to keep the ball locked into the paint so that Perth can't get it and run. They want to stay tighter to Atwell, make sure that she doesn't get clean looks at the 3.
Maley to McDonald. Scores all tied up. Aerie through traffic, goes left and right. Well done, Zatina. Comes down with the board. Reed. Woods thought about setting the feet. Now confronted. Akuzo. Whitcomb works through the screen, gets to a dangerous spot. Brown in the corner. Back to Whitcomb. Probing offense here from Townsville. Desperate defence from Perth. And in the end, the D wins it.
I think that's exactly what Coach Seabon was saying in that last time out. When that kicked out to Brown, she needed to let that fly, take that shot and have confidence in that shot. Predictable shots are reboundable, so when you give up the shot that you should take, then you become in trouble.
Different vibe in the Fire Pit right now. They can sense that Perth are surging. McDonald being harassed. Goodchild versus Woods. Goes left and right, back on her left, draws a foul, tough finish. We've spoken about the improvement of Mila Goodchild, we saw it there.
Absolutely, and she's known to be a deadly three-point shooter, but one of the things that she's added to her game is this ability to get to the paint, get herself layup type attempts, and then finish through contact like we saw in that possession.
Originally from Brisbane, was a development play for the Fire back in 2017 and 18, played 2 games in that championship season and went to Duke, had a great career in one of the great US college programs. Came back, didn't have a contract anywhere, paid for herself to fly down and try out for the Melbourne Boomers. Got herself a contract and earned herself a career, Zoe.
Yeah, unbelievable commitment as well to be able to back herself and say, I'm going to get myself a position on a team and on a roster, and now is having a breakout season in the WNBL.
Just needed that opportunity. Reed, Woods to Whitcomb. The Kuzo versus Potter's been an engaging battle all night. Zatina looking for support. Where's it coming from? Turnover comes. Great pressure again from Perth. McDonald goes herself, and the defence is rewarded.
And that's gone up a level for the Lynx. They've been able to hold the fire to 3 points in the first half of this third quarter. It's been a catalyst for their running game.
So some pressure on Townsville here. Again, they get a stop, and again, they want to get out and run. The tempo of the game's changed. It's suddenly being played on Perth's terms, just the way they like it. And they drain it from the corner, and in the blink of an eye, it's an 8-point lead to the Lynx. They've gone on a 15-3 run to start this second half.
And everything going their way right now too, from both offensive and defensive perspective. You're seeing them getting hands in the lanes, getting deflections. The momentum has well and truly shifted towards Perth. So Townsville now need to really lock into their offense, get some ball movement, player movement, get a high percentage shot to try and wrestle that back.
That last three, it's out to 18-3 that run. As the ball spills out for another Perth stop, Megs.
And Ryan Petrick is usually one calm customer, but when that three went down, he almost let out a chainsaw celebration like you see when a fast bowler takes a wicket in the cricket. But the momentum's changed in the crowd. It's gone quiet here at the fire pit. The bells aren't ringing, but the momentum and energy is coming from the Perth bench.
Tell you which bells are ringing for Shannon Seabohm, the alarm bells. 18-3 run here for Perth. Atwell to try and continue that, loses the handle. Important stop here for Townsville, and Mark Alabakov, what is going through Shannon's mind at the moment? How do they regain control here?
Well, they wanted to stabilise with better execution in the half court and potentially play for a longer possession, so have a longer continuity offense, force the Lynx to have to defend for as close to this 24 seconds as possible, and then support that shot with rebounding efforts. I think, like Zoe said, predictable shots, it gives you an opportunity to go and rebound them.
They're the number one offense in the league, Zoe. And Ryan Petrick says himself, when we're on, we're unstoppable. When we're off, it's a mess, but they're on right now.
Absolutely, and they score in bunches. They score so quickly, so you have to be on top of them at all times.
Woods, important shot here from Kunek. That misses, and away come Perth. And again, look at the speed. Maley gathers and wants to bring it down court straight away. Always looking for that early shot. This time Townsville do well to get back in position. Atwell tries to shoot over the top. Maley in the blink of an eye is there to pick up the board. Atwell happy to run the clock down. Zawi B makes heavy contact and bails her out with 2 seconds left. And Amy Atwell really taking control. She's up to 21 points. And we're seeing in her second season mark at 25 years of age, another one of those players who's come through the college system, come through the elite Australian junior system, and now she's a senior player and all the pieces are coming together.
Absolutely, and she's a world-class three-point shooter, but this season we've been able to see a branching out of her game. She's making plays off the dribble, she's using the pick and roll and making better decisions. She's becoming a complete scorer for the Lynx.
Chippertoni, here is Atwell, and just look at the confidence she has right now. Pass inside, Gorman looks an option. Only got 3 seconds left, has to get rid of it. Great D from Woods. Atwell cut hard to the basket. Well done, Townsville. Important stop. Can Townsville get the tempo back on their terms? We talk about styles making fights. Well, for most of the second term, Zoe, Townsville had it on their terms. They slowed it down. But Perth, as we saw, when they speed it up, they can kick away quick.
Definitely. And I think Townsville got a little bit stuck playing in their tempo again. We spoke about it at the start of the broadcast. So, they've got to get back to Townsville basketball. Methodical, detailed execution.
Sammy Whitcomb throws it away there. Townsville just looking a little bit out of sync and rhythm at the moment. They've lost 4 of their last 6 coming into this game. Perth had to fight for survival. 2 clutch wins to get them into the finals. They needed to rely on other results. Important timeout here with 3:51 left on the clock.
Again, run some more. Like you see, they're really starting to struggle now. Run. This time down. I want to be in stack big, but with Steph. Good. So again, Max in the action. Set it. Steph, get all the way outside the three-point line, lane line. Again, Mac, get at the elbow, hit it. And again, the away screen. They play how they play. Again, come off it aggressive as well. The bailout is a 1-5 pick and roll with Airy. So we're all good. We're good? Try again. Hey. If Kunig's in the 4, we'll green that one.
That timeout brought to you by Cygnett, Australia's #1 digital accessories brand. They continue to power the WNBL. Available at JB Hi-Fi, Officeworks, other leading retailers, and of course at Cygnett.com. You can see Megs there in the middle of that Townsville huddle. It's not often you see the Fire taken out of their rhythm. They are at the moment, Megs. What did Shannon have to say?
Well, Shannon was calm, but probably a little bit confused as to why his team are playing hesitantly, he said. He wants to see them be aggressive off the on-ball and create because they're playing so hesitantly. He said that 2 stops and scoring twice gets them right back on equal playing terms.
McDonald out of the timeout goes bang and whacks him between the eyes to make it an 11-point game. Biggest lead of the match. It's a struggle right now for Townsville on offense. Just 3 points for the term, 21 for Perth. Zawi B from long range. Not the way you drew it up, but what an important bucket.
Absolutely, you will take it right now if you're Townsville. And maybe that'll be what it is to get the crowd back into it and turn the momentum for them.
McDonald to the corner. Shipatoni can't get it to drop. Maybe that is the spark they needed. Amanda Zawi B from downtown. Here's Woods. Not quite. Important board. Maylee, no. Townsville ball. She said it skimmed off the fingertips, but no. And Annalie Maylee up to 7 rebounds. And she's having an impact in this second half, Zoe, as you predicted she would.
Yeah, and I think the loss of Michaela Roof has really helped that as well. She did a fantastic job in that first half. Maylee was always going to find a way in that second half, but not having to worry about having Roof there, I think, has really opened her up a lot more into her game.
Fantastic point, Zoe Carr. Mark Alabakov with us tonight for what is turning out to be a fascinating game. Great inbound play. Kunek the and one. And a better minute or so for Townsville to just steady the ship a little bit, make sure the damage doesn't creep out, the same way Perth had to in the first half.
Absolutely, and it's just like you said from the outset of the broadcast, Jason, it's Townsville with a scalpel. It's execution, getting themselves high percentage shots that they can knock down.
Just keep it close. We saw the Flyers do that with the Boomers last night. They had a great moment and they kicked away in the last 5 minutes of the third term. The Lynx have made their move here, but the Fire looking to hang in, travel on Potter. Another important stop, and the Fire are all fired up.
Zoe B is pumped. She is ready to take over this game. So if I'm Townsville right now, I'm trying to get the ball in her hands somehow on this offense to at least open up somebody else or let her go to work because she's got fire in her eyes right now.
Megs was calling for more cowbell. Sounds like you're getting it, Megsy.
Oh, the bells are ringing here now, Jason. It's like muting the TV, unmuting it, and the volume goes to 100. That's what it feels like in the last couple of minutes. But Townsville needed the crowd to get behind them, and they are.
Travel called on Woods. So now it's up to the Lynx to just hold their nerve as Townsville look to surge their way back into the game. Ari from downtown, that'll help. Couple of massive baskets for Ari McDonald. Back out to 8. Reed thought about it momentarily. Whitcomb steps on the corner, does Kunek. We talk about precision. Just a few little mistakes creeping into the Townsville game in this third term, Mark. Uncharacteristic for the Fire.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a credit to the Lynx's defense being able to speed up the decision-making of the Fire. We saw some rushed shots early in the quarter and some overthrown passes. That's been the catalyst for this big offensive explosion that they've had.
Earlier in the game, we spoke about Shannon Seabom saying that we don't mind getting up-tempo at times, but it needs to be at the right time, Zoe. We can't get sucked into Perth's game too much. Exactly. It feels like they have been out of their comfort zone.
Exactly, and Perth doing an outstanding job of mixing up their D as well.
They put up more threes than any other team in the competition. And it's Steph Gorman that drains one. Back out to 11. Kunek, Whitcomb, Zawi B wants some movement. Reed, shot clock to single digits. Steph to respond. Not quite. And this has been a good response from Perth. They haven't backed down. Not again. Not this time. Potter in there scrapping. Perth ball. So we know they're going to play the Perth way, Mark. Townsville started to come back at them, but they don't go back into their shell. They keep moving it quick. They keep jacking up three.
Yeah, and they score in waves and bunches. So in wins that the Perth Lynx have, they hit 11 or more threes. They're up to 11 already.
Turnover. Foul on Clinch Hoykard. Townsville ball. Critical 71 seconds left in this third term. Can Townsville eat into the deficit? Can Perth extend it a touch? It's 11 points at the moment. Reed to Whitcomb. Kunek the screen. Woods. Reed. You can feel the urgency in Townsville's game, and Steph gets to the rack.
Really important, the Fire now locked down on this possession. They can't trade baskets anymore.
Offensive foul on Potter for the screen, and there's Zoe B. Pumped again. Here's another look.
Just a little overzealous from Emily Potter, and she throughout this season has had foul trouble that has proved to be costly for the Perth Lynx. It's really important that she has an emotional control now and plays the next possession on its merits.
9 points the margin. A basket either way just changes the dynamic. Kunek, not again. Not this time for Zawi B. She got them going with that three. They'll still get another opportunity. Whitcomb has it. Fresh 14. Sammy says, I don't need 14. Quick shot, doesn't fly, and now there's only a 2-second differential between shot and game clock. Gorman wants to get into the hands of McDonald, and you'd think that Airy will settle it down. One deliberate last play. Or does she go quick? She did. Didn't work. Away comes Steph. Gives Townsville a look. Can Sammy make her pay? Oh, that's massive. 5-point swing. One decision from Airy McDonald to take it on. Sammy makes her pay. They halve the lead. It's a 6-point game as we turn for home. Game 1 of the FWNBL semi-finals. Thanks to Foot Locker. What a massive couple of seconds it was at the end of the third term. Airey McDonald, they led by 9 points after they'd come out of the blocks. At one stage, they went on an 18-3 run, did Perth. Took control, got out to an 11-point lead. Townsville steadied the ship, grinded their way back into things. Zawi B got them going with that big three. And then those last couple of seconds, Airey McDonald takes on the play to make it an 11-point game. It doesn't drop. They kick it down the other end. Sammy goes bang. It's a 6-point game with 1 quarter to play at the fire pit. The Cygnett WNBL Game 1 semi-final series between Townsville and Perth, thanks to Foot Locker. And this game beautifully poised for the final term in Townsville. Sammy Whitcomb to inbound, and away we go in the final term. Kunek, offensive foul as we head to Meg's courtside.
Well, at halftime, we spoke to a legend of the game who made a career out of going left, Susie Batkovic, and the message from Shannon Seabohm at three-quarter time was to get a star who's dominating on a Townsville floor in Airey McDonald on her right hand. No surprise the messaging around the Perth three-quarter time huddle from Ryan Petrick was around this woman, Airey McDonald.
I saw her get to the rack there again, jump ball called. Courtney Woods, rather, gets up off the deck.
And one of the dangers when you're trying to force a player a particular way, you can't let Airey McDonald go either way easily. It's just you'd prefer her to go left, and that was probably a little too easy. They got out of jail on that one there, so they need to make sure they're doing a better job of stemming that.
Very nice inbound play to Atwell under the rack. Important first up points in this final term for Perth as they look to keep Townsville at arm's length. It's out to 8 again. Woods to Reed. You know Townsville are going to come at some stage. It's going to be a question of whether Perth can resist. Woods draws a foul.
If that's on Potter, that'll be her 3rd foul. It's important for her not to change the way she's playing, just stay clean. All she needs to do in that situation is wall up and make that shot as hard and as high as possible, and her teammates can box out on the weak side of the floor.
Shannon Seabohm, the 4-time Coach of the Year, watches on. His team 8 points down early in the final term. Courtney makes the first. 84% career free throw shooter. On at 91% this year. 62 of 68. Almost automatic from the line. 2 important shots there, makes it a 6-point game. There's McDonald, forced left again, Reed. Inside to Atwell, lots of traffic to deal with. It's ripped free, but McDonald gets back onto it. And then fouled.
When we talk about foul trouble, I think that might be Steph Reed's 4th personal foul.
She was called on that screen earlier against Maley. And she'll sit down, Steph Reed, with the 4 fouls. So it's Woods, Whitcomb, Zawi B, Kunek, and Maley left open. Defensive breakdown. Eight-point game. Perth looking to knock off the minor premiers in game 1. Whitcomb to Woods. Runs in a good child who holds her position. Potter keeps it alive, does really well. You can see Ryan Petrick on the sideline saying, move it, move it, move it, go quick. McDonald wants to do that. Emily at the other end is fouled. Well played, Emily Potter. Big defensive play, and it gets to a dangerous spot.
And quickly turning defense into offense. So you saw Airey McDonald wait for Potter to get position in the painted area, and then you had Zawi B on the move. Inevitably, there's going to be some contact there, and Potter gets on the free throw line as a result of it.
.75% from the stripe this year, Emily Potter. Made her last 10. Yep, she's feeling it from the stripe. So far, Perth holding their nerve. Marching back out to 10. Zawi B. To Cygnett to Akuzo. Woods inside to Zawi B. Great find.
And back to Townsville basketball. Execution, ball movement, player movement. And they see the advantages to that. So they're going to have to string a few of those together, as well as stops at the other end, to try and bring back in this deficit.
Zoe Carr, Mark Alabakov and Megan Huswaite courtside for tonight's game 1. Townsville and Perth at the fire pit. Whitcomb with the pick. Cygnett rejected by Potter. Two teams with their distinct styles. Townsville get back to playing their way. We know Perth will just continue to attack. That's how they play. Cygnett, lovely finish. No matter the situation, no matter teams coming at them, Perth won't go into their shell. It's back to 6 points. Potter, lovely move. Nice finish. Whitcomb, quick ball to Cygnett. Nice step from Alice. Managed to get rid of Atwell. Goes to the opposite corner. This time Amy Atwell happy to hold things up. Needs to get it in the front half very quickly. Just does, and Zawi B picks it off. Ouch. Back to 6. Timeout called. Game 1 hangs in the balance at the fire pit. Good heads-up play, Amanda Zawi B. Zoe, she's had some great moments tonight.
She has. She's really done everything she can to try and swing the momentum on multiple occasions back towards Townsville with big plays. You know, sticking threes, coming up with the stop, drawing fouls, and getting steals. So hopefully she can continue that.
Perth with a 6-point lead. Here's Ryan.
Hey, if Zatina's on the floor, we're zoning up from there. We're not overreacting to the one Zali B3. Okay? She hasn't morphed into Cassandra Brown. She can make it a little bit. She ain't Steph Curry. Right here, stack big, but I want you to flare it and flip it. So again, Mac in it. Come off it, Amy. Cool, there. Set a flare, don't go quite as far. Set a flare screen. Airy comes off it, you're going to dive that shit.
Well, to Ryan's point, Amanda Zawi B is 2 for 16 from the 3-point range. So, yeah, the percentages suggest that she's not going to drain too many. She drained that massive one in the third term, though, Zoe. It really got them going.
Yeah, and you don't want to throw your entire scout out on the back of one shot. So let her make 3, 4, or 5 first before you start making those adjustments. But it was a big 3 to change the momentum of the game.
6-point game as we head to Megs.
Well, Shannon Seabom was fired up, but not with the playing performance of his team, but their mindset. He said, we're at home. We're 2 possessions away from this game. We don't win unless we are on the same page.
Great steal from Gorman. McDonald comes through. Huge play. Waved away. Travel.
Probably unlucky with that referee whistle. I thought it was a clean layup. Would have been a massive play in the context of this ball game.
They made it an 8-point game. Instead, it's a Townsville ball. 6.5 to play in game 1. Thanks to Foot Locker on the Home of Hoops ESPN. Zawi B. Cygnett. Akuzo. Woods. Zawi B calling for it in the corner. Go back to the top of the arc. Whitcomb works the 1-2 with Akuzo and 1. Deficit halved. Should Sammy go back and make the free throw, she'll make it a 3-point game. Against her old team, Sammy Whitcomb spent the last 5 years with the Lynx. A long history with WA basketball. She looks for the inbound steal. McDonald comes away with it. Sammy still lurking. Airy goes herself, can't finish. Zoe B keeps it alive. Here come Townsville. Chance to tie it up. Inside, Zatina finishes. And just like that, it's a one-point game.
And just a great decision in transition to go inside to Akuso. She hasn't really had the opportunities inside in the last quarter. To be able to go inside on that, get high percentage was huge.
Airy to Maley, can't make it. And now a chance for Townsville to blow the roof off if they can hit the front. Whitcomb holds it up. She's got 19 points. Zawi B's been so influential. Zatina to Kunek. Almost to the corner for Woods. Back to Whitcomb. 4 seconds to play. Won't go. Sammy contests. Ripped in by Gorman. And she releases Maley. Got Clinch Hoycard to the corner. Instead she goes to McDonald. Accelerates past Whitcomb and finishes. Important bucket. Back out to 3 points.
That's what you want if you're Coach Ryan Petrick. Keep getting the ball into the painted area. Keep the scoreboard ticking over.
Inside 5 minutes. In a fantastic game one. Woods makes it 1 point again.
I think that's been the better scoring option for the Fire. Rather than trying to seek contact and draw fouls, just straight up good fundamental basketball.
Donald through Maley. Gorman again from long range. Kunek. Chance here for Townsville to hit the front. They led by 8 early in the game. Sammy putting the team on her back, and Townsville lead again.
And you can see Townsville have figured it out. Perth have been matched up, and then as they have their ball movement, they're falling into a 2-3 zone, or they're zoning off. So they're pulling up into that little sort of pull-up jump shot area and finding the rewards.
Clinch Hoycard is fouled as they get to the line. Questions being asked now of the Lynx as we head to Megs.
We've talked about the crowd and the impact they've been playing tonight, but when the ball went in the hoop from Whitcomb, Zowie B turned to the crowd and she raised her hands. She knows that they can play a part in trying to ride the momentum here in this 1 point game.
McDonald and Maley head to the bench for a breather. There's Zawi B trying to catch her breath. Just a second game back. So she's struggling for match fitness, but she's giving this everything she's got. Clinch Hoycard misses the first. 29 of 38 in her career. As Zawi B fires them up, she misses both, Mac. And Townsville retain the lead. Massive minute or two here for Perth. Got to try and weather this storm. Whitcomb. Reed gets a screen. To the corner. Kunek! No! Away comes Chivatoni. Atwell for three. Fouled. And she'll go to the line to shoot three.
I'd love to see the statistics on how often Amy Atwell is fouled on the three-point line. It happens far too often, and I know we're in a chase trying to get over the top because you cannot give her an inch, but there's got to be that discipline to not give her your hands or not give her your body as she's going up for the three.
She's an 86% free throw shooter, so you don't want to send her to the line. Here's Megs.
And that was Courtney Wood's fourth foul, joining Steph Reed, who's on 4 and is currently back on court. So they're rolling the dice, understandably, with 3 minutes 40 to go.
The pressure of a finals game. She misses 2 of 3. Scores level. Perth leaving some points on the table at the stripe in this final term. 3.5 to play, nothing between them. Whitcomb. Back to Reed. Kunek. To Steph. Sammy to the corner. Wood sets. It's short. Potted a good child. With McDonald and Maley taking a breather. For one last burst late. Mila goes herself. Runs into Zatina. Draws the foul.
much better shot selection. So where they've had 3 of their past 5 possessions getting the ball into the paint, that's been most profitable. They've been able to get to the free throw line or get a layup type of attempt. Anything that's a long shot, the Fire are doing a heck of a job of boxing out, and then they're looking to push the ball back the other way.
13 from 19 at the stripe tonight, Perth. 12 for 15, Townsville. And Mila misses one as well. She misses both. Potter's still there. It's off her foot now. It's incredible, isn't it? You literally, as a player, put up tens of thousands of free throws, and then the pressure comes late in games, and that bucket gets awfully small.
Definitely, especially in a place like Townsville.
They've made just one of their last 8 from the free throw line. Score still level inside 3 minutes. Reed, Woods, back to Steph, back to Woods, puts it on the floor, gets to the hoop, can't finish. And away comes Annalee. Eyes up looking for an option. Good child. Will she take it to the rack? A little floater over the top is spectacular. Perth lead again. What a play from Goodchild over Akuzo. Zatina, just as good with the fine through to Kunek. And Zatina's wheeled away. Looks like she's clutching at her wrist or hand there.
Profit for the Lynx, where they've been able to get some stops against the Fire at one end. They don't want to walk the ball down the floor and turn this into a half-court battle. I think that favours the Fire, but pushing the basketball like they did on the last possession, Goodchild gets herself a hoop.
Maybe just winded from the contact there with Annalee Maley. You can see the sweat just pouring off Zatina Akuzo. These two teams throwing everything at each other. Game 1 in a best-of-3 series. Perth win it, they go home with a chance to wrap it up and go to a grand final. Townsville, desperate to win at home. Potter puts them back in front. Reed gets a screen. Whitcomb. Zatina versus Potter. Nice move, Zatina. Hands it off. Kunek in the corner. Back to Akuzo. Works on Potter. Can't finish. Let's look at Perth's tempo. This time they decide they're going to hold it up. Need to be precise. McDonald against Whitcomb. Offensive foul. Steph Reed wears the contact. Massive call. She was on 4 fouls, Zoe.
Yeah, that could have been game-changing had that gone the other way. So brave from Steph Reed to step up and actually take that. A lot of players, when they're on 4 fouls, will shy away from it and not put their body on the line. But Steph Reed sets her feet and takes the hit through the chest.
Reed on 4, Woods on 4. You can see there McDonald and Potter on 3 apiece for Perth. It's been a game of moments, as finals so often are, Mark, and it feels like in this last 90 seconds we've still got a couple to come.
We really do, and there's so many match winners on the court right now for both teams, so it could come from anywhere.
Perth by 2. Whitcomb inside, Akuzo. Back out to Woods. Reed for the lead, no. Sammy comes up with a rebound. She goes for 3 and gives them the lead. The veteran against her old team. McDonald waits for Potter to arrive. Now accelerates, gets to the rack. Perth back in front. Reed, Akuzo, Woods, back to Steph. Tries to find a lane on Maley. Annalee sticks to the task. Steph keeps the ball alive. Doesn't touch it while she's out of bounds. ball. 9-second differential. Plenty of time. 1-point game. Perth need to be calm and execute. Ari runs down the clock. She'll want isolation here. Steps back. Shot clock to 4. Goes again to the corner. Can they get the shot up? They do. It doesn't go. 6 seconds. Akuzo's got to move it. Off to Reed. Can she get a shot up? Half court. Long bomb. Whitcomb shot. Perth win a ripper. An epic game 1. And the Lynx take it on the road and throw another curveball into the race for the WNBL championship. Perth snapped their 9-game losing streak to the Townsville Fire at the best possible time. The reigning champs to regroup and get ready to fight for their season on the road in Game 2 this Sunday. Perth 88, Townsville 87 in an epic Game 1. What a contest. Zoe Carr, Mark Elabakov.
Unbelievable. Just massive plays throughout the entire game, both at the offensive and defensive end. I think we saw, some of the most incredible offense, though, that we've seen throughout this WNBL season. So this series is going to go down to the wire, that's for sure.
Perth headed to Melbourne late last week, Mark, not knowing if their season was still alive. They needed to take care of business and have other results go their way. All of that panned out just the way they needed to. They headed to Townsville with no fear, and now they're 1-up in a 3-game series.
And they get a free swing. They get 2 opportunities to try to knock off a very quality outfit in the Fire. So that's going to be easier said than done. But 2 cracks at trying to earn their berth into the grand final. 37 points off turnovers and fast break points combined. It was Perth Lynx basketball.
Megan is with Ari McDonald.
Ari, you've done what many have thought in the league for a long time is impossible. You've beat Townsville on their home floor. You go home with a 1-0 lead. How was that?
It's undescribable. I'm happy we got the team win. We had some small errors, but, back to the drawing board, and we're not done yet.
You're not done yet. You were just saying to me you missed a few layups. You're already hard on yourself, but you had 26 points and you won by a point. That's you, though. You're the professional, the ultimate.
Yeah, I'm not satisfied. I missed so many bunnies. Like, I already know when I go to my text, my family's going to be on me. But, that's a focus thing, so I got to be better next game.
Tell us about the self-belief in this team. You've won now 3 games since you've returned. You go home now and a 1 win away from a grand final.
Oh, man, what a great comeback. What a great turnaround. I'm proud of my girls. The journey has not been easy, but I'm proud, and I'm happy for our trajectory moving forward.
Can't wait to see you in Perth. Thanks, Ari. As Ryan Petrick joins us, the Perth coach, and he's just giving a hug to his star player. Ryan, I haven't seen you celebrate too much in your coaching career, but you had a few reasons to celebrate tonight. That was incredible.
Yeah, solid. We thought we had a solid plan. But in fairness, I think we've had a solid plan the last 9 times. We just can't beat these damn guys. They're really good. So to get one up here was really handy.
Tell us about Ari. You described her during the week as your Ferrari. I bet you're happy to have that vehicle back on the road.
Yeah, she's not bad at basketball. She's really tough. And you can see why we didn't want to rush her back. Because her healthy, and again, all due respect, but she's the most important player to winning in the league. We're now 11-3 when she plays. So, yeah, she's not bad.
Glad you're keeping count. How important is it to get the win here? We know how tough Townsville are here at home, let alone in finals. You go home now with a 1-0 lead and get the chance to win on your home court on Sunday.
Yeah, without being Debbie Downer, it's not over. They're the defending champs for a reason. They got Opals everywhere. They got the future Opals coach. They're loaded. We know we've got to try and knock them out. They're not going to beat themselves. We tried to knock ourselves out in that 4th with all the free throws. So we've got some things to clean up, but it's just far from done.
Good to see you smiling, Ryan. You enjoyed it tonight. I saw you do that chainsaw celebration.
Yeah, well, again, the steak place is closing shortly.
We've got to get to dinner. Thanks, Ryan. We'll see you on in Perth on Sunday.
Thanks to Megs with Ryan Petrick, and an emotional win we could see there, Zoe, all over the face of Chloe Forster. Means so much to this group. They hit the wall. They lost 7 out of 8, and a season that promised so much looked like it was slipping away. It's the ups and downs, the emotional roller coaster of sport.
Absolutely. And to be able to, as you said earlier in the broadcast, not know if you're going to make it, having to watch a game to find out if you are actually going to be able to have your place in finals, to get it, to be coming up against the top seed team in their home gym and to be able to knock them off, it just takes so much out of all players all the way through, and you see that there in that emotion that they're showing.
So, Mark, you've had a couple of minutes to process what we've just seen. What did you make of that last couple of minutes where it was just a mad scramble and the clock seemed to hit fast forward?
It was unbelievable. Manic in terms of the tempo that the game was played at. You saw some unforced errors. But I think the real defining factor was this came down to defense for two really high-powered offensive teams. You know, that third quarter for the Perth Lynx held this Townsville Fire outfit to just the 14 points, 3 assists in the quarter, and no offensive rebounds. And that got their running game going and got them the lead.
Zoe, we know Townsville is such a fantastic professional outfit. Can't wait for game 2.
Absolutely. They will bounce back from this.
So plenty of action to come. Game 2 of the Boomers Fly series. That was a belter last night as well. Coming up at the Boombox Saturday, 7 o'clock Eastern. And then Sunday, we can't wait for the Lynx and the Fire. Game 2 from the Bendat Basketball Centre in Perth. 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 WA, 2:30 Queensland. And then the Game 3s, if needed, Wednesday and Thursday night with the grand final to kick off Sunday, March the 10th. Every Cygnett WNBL finals match coming up live right here on ESPN. Tickets for all those games available at WNBL.basketbol. Well, that wraps up Game 1 from the Fire Pit. Thanks to Foot Locker. On behalf of Zoe Carr, Mark Alabakov, Megan Huswaite, our entire production team, thanks so much for watching.